Over the weekend, Senator Joe Biden made some alarming comments. Take a listen.
Mark my words, within the next first 6 months of this administration, if we win, we're going to face a major international challenge because they're going to want to test it.
Meanwhile, yesterday, Sarah Palin said on television that had she made those comments, she would have been clobbered. Let's talk a little bit about that with Seton Motley. He's the Director of Communications for the Media Research Center. Good morning to you, Seton.
Good morning, Steve. How are you?
Is Sarah Palin accurate? Would she get clobbered by the mainstream media? And is there a double standard regarding Joe Biden getting a pass?
Well, Joe Biden, as Brian read off, has given us a laundry list. He is a perpetual gaffe machine. And the vast majority of those read to your audience, and your audience gets them. A lot of them, they'd be like, whoa, I didn't hear that one before, because the media just doesn't report them. Sarah Palin's right. Dan Rather, if you saw him on Monday's MSNBC with Morning Joe.
We don't watch that show here.
Well, I understand. Well, 8 people do. But more people read their VCR manuals than watch that show. But he went on Morning Joe and said, if Sarah Palin had done this, it would be above the fold news. It would be on all the broadcast networks. And of course, he didn't get any of that.
Sure. Now, Seton, let me ask you this. Since the mainstream media in the tank for Barack Obama, and I mean, that's just a fact, Jack. If he is elected, where are the checks and balances going to come regarding his administration? Because usually, you know, the press has historically held a candidate and then an office holder's feet to the fire. But if everybody loves them, who's going to do their job, aside from Fox?
Well, I was going to say Fox News is going to have to open a branch channel in an Obama administration, because you guys are the only ones that consistently cover what's going on both sides of the street. As we've seen this last month, or excuse me, last year and a half, these last 18 months, it is just in the tank for Barack Obama, neck deep and sinking fast. It's going to really be an interesting test, and I say interesting in a macabre kind of way.
Sure.
An interesting test of the new media,
right.
the blogs, the online, the talk radio, and that kind of thing, to keep an eye on all of that.
Absolutely. And Seton, we're going to talk a little bit about that new media when we return with Seton Motley in 2 minutes.
All right, we're back with Seton Motley, Director of Communications for the Media Research Center. Overall, when Sarah Palin was told, everyone says Sarah Palin is somebody who's not accessible to the press. She doesn't want to have press conferences. Why is everyone hiding and protecting her? But that's really changed. If it was true, it's totally changed now, hasn't it?
Well, you know, when you go from being a governor of a state to a national candidate, there's got to be some time where every governor, no matter who you chose, has to bone up on a lot of national issues that she didn't have to deal with, or he didn't have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. So yes, now that she's gotten briefed and up to speed, she's out and making the rounds. And I would point out that Joe Biden, CBS has noted that Joe Biden hasn't given a press conference in quite some time. But of course, we don't hear about that either. And now, after Sunday's performance, we probably understand why. You said he's campaigning in Colorado. Is that for the McCain campaign?
Every appearance
well,
could be.
Interestingly enough, no, it's not. But of course, that is a swing state. Seton, let me ask you this, because before we went to break, we were discussing with Steve how important the blogs could potentially be if Obama's elected and you have Congress controlled by the Democrats. And why do you believe that?
Well, it's going to be a call to arms for the new media. What John Fund calls the lamestream media is so obviously neck deep in the tank for Obama and sinking that were he to become elected, we can't possibly hope to rely on them for any kind of factual reporting on what an Obama administration would be doing. So it's time for the blogs, it's time for the new media, it's time for Fox to open 6 networks, and that way we could actually get some factual reporting on what's going to be going on in a potential Obama administration.
Don't you think there's some vindication, Seton, here with regard to Democrats calling out the mainstream media? I mean, to me, that's like a huge headline that the Democrats are now. Dan Rather, you have Kirsten Powers, who works here and is a columnist for the New York Post.
And that CNN reporter agreed.
And the CNN reporter agreeing. To me, that is huge, that this whole thing could change based on the fact that some of their own are actually calling them out.
Well, if you recall back to the summer, we got a lot of polls where increasing numbers of Americans, every new poll each week was a higher number of Americans saying we don't trust the media. And what you may be witnessing is, as we get close to an election, one of the things McCain has scored points on as he's been campaigning is striking the media. So perhaps some Democrats are trying to get in on some of that electoral fever going into the election.
Fever, catch it. All right, Seton Motley, we thank you very much for joining us. Their website is mrc.org. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.